So actually that way, I'm in the chamber. Eventually.
Commercial agent can't eat it.
Find some.
Those
Those
residential
doing
agents
it.
love their customers.
Kids that don't have family, girlfriend.
Let's start with bucket bills and what's good?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the
Like,
commercial,
The commercials every time.
Yeah.
That's good. The commercials, we're all agreeing that the commercials are over.
They are done.
Yes.
That's the
All agreeing, say amen to
All
that.
right, bucket bills, what's good? Tell me all your secrets. Chris, I saw you about to say something.
I was just gonna say, Rick sent me a funny joke this morning and I read it at 5:30 in the morning, so that was good.
Sent it at 5:30 this morning?
No, he sent it last night. at
Oh, I was
11,
like,
but
oh, that's a.
I read it at 5:30 this morning.
I said yours late.
Yeah. What else is good? Other bucket bills? Okay, we're just silent.
The line to vote was not too long.
You what?
The line to vote was not terribly long.
That's what I heard. There's a lot of pre-day voting.
mine was like a roller coaster ride, which was fitting for the situation. But it was like going back and forth, a little before 7. It was like, and it was like, I think it was.
How many leads did you get from that, Terry?
15.
Like, are you for real? Oh, I was like, I can see you actually doing that, but. What else? What else is good?
I do want to say something
Yeah.
about my accountability group that we have met for once a week for gosh years. And it's been so good, and like I had kind of a in my face kind of thing that I got tired of like going, oh, I didn't do that, and then it was like, well, this is stupid. So it's like I already have my stuff done. So I'm like, no.
I saw
For this week,
but I was
yeah.
gonna.
So, yeah.
Love
So
that.
it was just really good. It was kind of like, okay, this is stupid. So
Love
it
it.
was good.
Awesome. What else?
Thanks to everybody who helped for the Halloween party.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
Like everyone showed up. There were some fun things that went on there.
Harry Potter.
You did watch Harry Potter
Oh, that's scary.
and you weren't scared this year. So that was a win. Wendy.
I just want to say thank you to the Market Center for your support for Paige and Julie and their family, considering what I showed up at their house looking like a pirate last week because Julie called me crying and said, Diana's on fire, can you come
Yeah.
here? And, so I left.
If anyone did not read the email, because sometimes I know that there's a habit of not reading emails that are sent out. An agent in our office, Paige, some of you met him, some of you might not have met him. With the snow and kind of storm last week, their house started on fire and are unable to live there for quite some time. So quite a bit of damages and, Wendy.
Yeah, it'll be a year before they can move back in. So, but just like within a couple hours, Kevin was walking in with a check from the KW local fund. So if you wonder if it matters, if you give to those, it does to the people who are standing there with only the shoes on their feet and the shirt on their back, that they had to go to Target and buy things like a hairbrush and a toothbrush and underwear, everything's gone. So, just really, really grateful for that, like, support from the Market Center and the care. Just in there right on the spot, that's been huge. So
Yeah, and I mean, it's obviously not the end of it, right? Being displaced, finding a house and, everything that kind of comes with that, will be a long road. So it's not just a one and done. We hope to support in every way we can.
Well, and-
To know that,
The meal train.
Yeah.
yeah,
That
that
went
went out.
out for the meal train and then,
You could also do donations through that.
full. Yep.
Yeah.
We've cut that one off because meal train takes a portion of it. And if we, right now, so they have some initial funds for some of the things they need now. And if we need to get more later to help fill the gap. But I did put a post on Facebook games. They're a big gaming family and all their collection of games from over the years is gone. So, I posted out their Amazon, I told Julie, make a list of all your games, cause that, right now, even though they're living in my mom's basement, wherever they go, they can still have their games. So I posted that list out there. Julie has a tradition of doing Christmas cookies and decorating, and everybody comes over and she makes these cookies and decorating. So I'll probably post one out there in December for cookie cutters and some of the other things that she does with that. So we can help keep some of those traditions in place for their family.
So that's on your Facebook that you put it
I put it out there on my Facebook, yeah.
And make sure, as I know Paige, he's not gonna say much. Keep us posted if there's something we need to do. Cause we'll do it.
Thank you. You're right. Paige's big concern is right now taking care of his family.
Right.
Making sure that they're all okay.
Anything else? All right, moving on. Oh, I didn't even see the little thing that you put up. Cute. So we have a wealth building 1031 exchange free CE this Thursday, 11 to 12, correct? It's just the 1 hour. Use the QR code to register. This is not the same as the last CE class. You can come that day, but it would be better for you to register because then they kind of usually have your number already in there. It's easier when you show up. Great information. And again, you're going to be 1 CE credit closer to June's 15, 30, whichever year you're on. Any questions around this at all? Chris?
Who's teaching that class?
Somebody from First American Exchange.
Okay, cool. I thought it was Derek and his birthday on the 7th.
He will actually be in Vietnam then. So yeah,
Right,
it
go-
will not
go
be
Derek.
Derek.
But November.
November is, yep,
Yep,
he
he's
does have a different class.
Yep, he will be teaching in one of the Thursdays.
We will be out of the office actually on Thursday afternoon and Friday. So we are doing, like you, a goal setting retreat as an office. We will be able to be reached. However, it might be a little bit slower, as we're going to be off site doing that both of those days. Do you guys have questions regarding that at all? Okay. And then we will also be closed on Monday. So there will be a 3-day period of time where we will not be in this office. But again, we'll be able to help you.
And I'll be coming in Friday afternoon.
And Heather will be coming in Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I'll be here for a bit on Friday afternoon, so I'm happy to help with anything then.
Okay. So one of our other wealth building series since November is all about wealth building is with Bethany Nelson on November 14th. That is actually 11 to 12:30. So it's not just 1 hour, correct? It's an hour and a half. That is in person and via Zoom. I highly recommend you going to these classes this month. Whether or not it's for you or for a client, you're going to pick up some little tidbits to be able to share while you're working with them or, starting your journey wealth building. Questions around this class at all? Okay. And then lastly is Derek's, and Derek is Growing Your Net Worth. And that is on the 21st, and that is a 1 hour class, 11 to 12, and that's also in person and via Zoom. And those two actually build their wealth very differently. So in regards to saying, oh, I'm going to go to one and not the other, it would be advantageous to you to go to both of them and see what would work for you, because each one does something different, and yet is very successful in their little niche. All right.
Oh,
Can I
yeah.
just
Yeah.
put one slide that we didn't get in there, and that's for the holiday party. Provided, Profile puts a lot of this together. The holiday party, which is done for the agents, for your clients, is on December 7th from 11 to 2. Does anybody who participates want to say a couple words about it? Thanks.
It's
Wendy.
awesome, super easy.
And
You just show up, you bring a little something to contribute to the food, and there's so much great stuff there, and your clients come and it feels like a really fun event. They can drop in, there's a chance to donate for Toys for Tot, and it is super simple and it's a great outreach, an effective way to reach out to your clients.
Wendy, is it at the church again?
It's a great opportunity for solo agents too. Because when your clients come there, they have no idea that all the other people's clients are not your client, right? So you show up and they're like, man, you know, he or she is really, really busy and you have all these clients. This is incredible. So it's a great opportunity for low cost, but yet have a lot of effect on people. Jelena.
I did it for the first 2, maybe 3 years that I was in business, and I highly recommend it for newer agents. It doesn't have to be clients. There's like, this can be invite your sphere, I mean, this is a customer and client event. So definitely take advantage of an easy event that you can put on. That's actually hosted for you. You just have to purchase.
And where do they sign up for that?
Your personal event. Has something came out from Whitney at Profile or Kelly's Willing?
Kelly sent something out.
Kelly.
And we could ask her to
Yeah,
send it.
if anyone has any
or
questions,
post
I
it
will-
On our Facebook page.
I
They
will find
do-
it and get it
you
sent
can-
out there.
Still doing balloons? Or you don't do that? Okay. So they, I mean, they do, take your pictures with Santa
They
and.
have a cookie decorating
cookie
station,
Cocoa.
craft
like,
station, hot cocoa.
Yeah.
Lots of food and drinks or cookies. Yeah.
It's a nice way, a great event if you're, and it's low budget for the.
Anyone have
people.
questions around that? Okay,
Send it to you.
now it's you, Eric.
Oh, wonderful.
Thanks, Eric.
Oh, no problem. I wish
Can
I
we
had a
walk
better
through
slide.
the
that we
tickets
put in
For
there.
the Halloween, zombie drink at
Yes, not everybody showed up for that.
Applebee's, which by the way, we will talk about lead genning because Paul got a lead literally at Applebee's, from a woman sitting at the bar.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
Like, it was,
Kimmy asked 4 questions, got 3 no's and finally got in there on the 4th one,
he was
so.
kind of snooping on our conversation, so it's like,
Bar.
are you a real estate agent? She's like, no. Do you want
There,
to be in
Sandy,
real
go.
estate? No. Are you thinking about selling or buying? No. I bet you know someone that is. And she's
Yeah.
like, I do. And then Paul took it over.
It was great.
It was awesome.
Surprising. So market update, as you guys are probably all aware, it's volatile. A lot of the traders have stayed out of it right now just because they don't know which way it's gonna go. Well, I'll be honest, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. It doesn't matter who wins.
Perfect.
Doesn't matter which way it's gonna go on that end. So it's just knowing right now, it's just extreme volatility and a lot of people have been sitting on the sidelines waiting on that. So this will be behind us hopefully, and then we'll have new volatility that'll come up after that. So we can talk about something else, right? So on that, any questions about what you guys are seeing or hearing? Anybody out there that I can help with or no?
Is there an uptick on buyers coming back into the market and, or are still pretty concerned?
Buy it.
We had the top 10% mastermind this morning, and there were quite a few people that said that activity was starting to pick up a little bit. This past weekend, I think is what Bethany had said for their team, for buyers kind of calling in and saying they're ready. So.
Yeah. That's kind of what I've seen this last week as well. It was dying down for a minute, but now we're starting to heat back up again, which is good. So it is what it is. Thing I did want to point out is one thing that we have been able to do over the last few years is get really good at rescuing loans on there. So if you guys have any situations that pop up where a transaction's getting off the rails a little bit, happy to jump in. We've been able to kind of put it back on there. That way, I know, you know, as little as 8-10 days, usually we can turn it around depending on what it is. So if anything pops up, you know, not to disparage any deals that you would get from some other lender, but just pay attention to that. If something's not feeling right, I'm happy to jump in and help. And it goes with your buyers too. I know sometimes on the front end, they've established who they want to work with. But I'm happy to be a second opinion and help them get it back on track. And if they want to work with me, awesome. If not, I can still help on that end. So just something to keep in your back pocket on that end. And that could be, you know, low appraisal. It could be debt to income issues, credit issues. I've been able to fix a lot of them. Self-employed income. There's a lot of different ways that we've been able to step in and fix and help. So something to think there.
Can I just say that, Eric, I've heard from other agents as well that you've come in to save the day at like Friday night or a late night where it's like,
like,
something.
No.
You know,
I don't do anything, so call me, it's fine.
We appreciate that and that, we don't want that to be your thing, but that you have, helped some clients out in kind of a pinch of like, ooh, now we're down to the wire. We really need to have someone help us out. And I've heard that you have been able to help us. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm willing to, obviously. You guys, I know how it happens. You get in there. I had one over the weekend, Friday night at 6 o'clock, and then, you know, she finally found the house that she wanted, and she hadn't done anything to prepare. So we talked on Saturday and Sunday, and offer accepted Monday morning, and we're going here today. You know, and she's 75 years old, so it was fun
Aw.
to walk her through that. An hour through IT, like you see how you print out a PDF.
What?
Alex heard it, from the whole office.
That's young.
I know, kid, just a kid out there, but, so I'm happy to help, just, you know, keep my number handy, no worries on that, so, I don't think I have it. And then this is still out there, free appraisal, rate buster, you guys wanna help engage your clients, have a conversation with them, please feel free to use that, just click on that, free appraisal is, obviously, free appraisal, I'll pay for the appraisal, Terry. Rate buster is 1% lower than the market rate that you can offer to your clients on that. So no cost to them at all on that. So it's just kind of a way to make this volatile rate environment a little more palatable for folks. So that's out there. Please use it. If you have questions, let me know.
Any
I will
questions?
say I
Yeah.
presented the Rate Buster last night and they were like mind blown about it. So really good feedback on that. I'm presenting it to Fire Up.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Awesome. Anyone else? All right,
Cool.
thank you.
I love it.
Yeah. well,
Oh, feels so good.
Understanding all.
I know,
those, yeah.
it's close. I'll take it. My world.
All right, so we have been doing the playbook, and I know you guys are like, what's the playbook? I don't have it with me right now. There was a volume 1 and then there is a volume 2. The reason for this part of our company, right, is to be transparent, collaborative, and give you the systems to make you successful. The interesting part about this is we've now went over, I think, I don't know what, 4 or 5. It is literally a 1-pager in this playbook, right? For each and every system, or mindset piece, or lead gen piece, or wealth building piece. And I guarantee some of you are sitting there saying, there's no way that if I do this 1 page, I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna say, you're wrong. Why? Because the people that are making these 1-pagers are real agents that are doing exactly this. So it's not just like a random system that's put in place without someone doing it, right? So today's, it's a season of a lot of different interactions, right? So we've got Thanksgiving coming up, we got the holiday season coming up, we've got New Year's coming up, and what do we all do during that time?
Eat.
Most of us, we eat. What else do we do? Do we eat alone or do we eat with other people? We eat with our sphere. We eat with our sphere, right? Or we go to parties, or we go with our families. And this is that moment where I think all of us become this really awesome secret agent, right? Where it's like, ooh, I don't really want to talk about real estate, right? Or I don't know if I don't want to bring that up at the dinner table, or I don't want to bring that up at the holiday party. Wrong answer, right? So this is a really simple model. So it's the 10-4 model. And again, as you're looking at it, you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, right? Yet, it's actually from someone that's in North Carolina. She did this. She did it for her first 90 days actually in the business, right? So she did it then and she still does it now. First 90 days, she didn't have 1 closing, not 1. Second 90 days, her business completely blew up, right? So what is it? 10 contacts, right? So no matter what, she made 10 contacts a day. Who's currently making 10 contacts a day? Few of us, right? If you didn't raise your hand, how many contacts are you making a day? Live question. 5. Okay, what else? What's another number? Potentially 0, I'm gonna guess. What's standing in the way of those contacts? Like, what are we struggling with to make 10 contacts a day? doing it, so ourselves, right?
Bringing value.
Honestly, it's really interesting that you say that. A book that I'm reading right now, if it is anything that you've thought that you stand in your own way, you should read this book. 10 out of 10, $17.99 on Amazon, and I guarantee you it'll be worth so much more than $17.99. And it's called The Mountain Is You, and it's talking about self-sabotage. And I can guarantee, I don't care what journey of self-growth, personal growth you're in, you will find something in there that is standing in your way to get to the goal that you actually want to get at. And I love that Terry brought that up, because I guarantee it's not the calls that you're making or the conversations you're having. Would you guys agree with that? Because how many hours does 10 contacts actually take in a day? Throw out some numbers.
Depends how long the
An hour.
conversations are, that's why,
Hour.
Okay,
but
I heard a lot of 1 hour. Okay, 2 hours. How many hours a day do you work on your business? That's 1 hour.
thinking
Anybody else?
about it or doing it.
Actually working on your business. No, I mean, that's real though, right? So how many hours do you think you actually work on your business in a day? Anyone? 2 and 4, okay? Who else?
You're saying on our business, not with our clients, how about?
Not in our business.
Like lead gen, making contacts. How many hours do you work on that a day? Because if it's more than 2 hours and we're not making 10 contacts, we should be in communication about why, right? So what are the skill sets that we can get the actual contacts, or who are the people that we can be in relationship with to get 10 contacts a day, right? Is anyone thinking that 10 contacts a day right now would be difficult?
Some days it's hard.
Some days it's hard. Okay, so she did 10 contacts a day. Again, I think we can all vote that that wouldn't be too difficult to do each day, right? Moving on. So Emily had 10 appointments a week. Everyone's like, ooh, that's a lot, right? That's a lot of appointments. Are these sheets in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay, so transparently, when we set appointments, do we always set listing and buyer appointments, but yet we count them as listing and buyer appointments? Because if anyone's like I was in business, I was like, I set like 8 appointments this week. And what did you do? You went out to coffee with your friend and you talked about, whatever, the hockey game, probably not, but I did. Do you actually talk about real estate in some of those appointments? Some, but other times it's not an actual listing or buyer appointment, right? So Emily, same thing. When she didn't actually have a listing or a buyer appointment, what'd she do? She made sure she had 10 appointments with another human being. That can be done really quickly too. You can say, hey, I'm just curious, would you be open to a half-hour conversation or just going driving coffee with me, right? Ask them what's going on in their world. Ask them what they need right now. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of uncertainty in life. People are probably freaking out about the holidays because not everybody loves the holidays, right? Some people don't have families, so they're like, I don't like this. This is a time of year that I don't feel as, happy. Gives you an opportunity to say, hey, would you want to come over for Thanksgiving to my house? There are so many things that can open up a door with talking to 10 people about life. Who feels like this would be overwhelming? I'm hoping no one, because every time I ask if I talk to this business, it was because of the people. But yet we don't want to talk to people. Like, I just want to help so many people because I love people.
It's more about rejection is why we like to talk to
Okay.
people. But bring up the conversations and the rejection and that's where you start to feel like don't have the conversation, they don't have the back.
So, absolutely, right? And who is the rejection about? Or what is the rejection about?
You feel like the success, the only thing success is, the only part that is successful is if that conversation goes somewhere, just to recommend or a showing or something like that. And in our head, we think that if that person wasn't ready to do something or right now, or wasn't ready to go look at a house right now, or didn't follow through with what you asked them to follow through with, we look at that as a negative, and truly it's just not right.
Yeah, but it's usually our ego, right? That is like on overdrive in that moment, right? For some reason, that no means that they don't want to talk to you. They don't like you. There's something that you didn't do, which is absolutely false. When we were sitting at Applebee's, right? At no point in time, this woman saying, no, I'm not in real estate was like, oh, she hates me. Right? Because I actually am not, I don't care what the answer is. If she would have said, no, I also don't know anybody, we would have went back to having a gummy brain,
Delicious
whatever
zombie drink,
drink
yes.
it was. And I think that's where we have to get out of our own way on that, right? Is if we are truly in this business to help people, it has nothing to actually do with you. It has to do with the fact of you coming from curiosity and contribution, right? And giving them the knowledge that they need and being there in the times that they need it. Would you guys agree with that? And the more relationships you can get into like that, who believes that they'll get more listings and buyers? I think where we get stuck is we get into sales mode, right? We get stuck in this sales mode, and usually we get stuck in sales mode because we don't have anything going on. So then we feel the need to pressure on the conversations, because if we don't get that next deal, we might not have money for the holidays. So now all of a sudden there's this pressure of like, they say no to me. Now what? Now I need to find 5 other people that are going to say yes. And then you come across as this like word vomit that just sounds gross because there's not actual care there anymore. We've all been in it. If you want to admit it or not, we've all been in that situation where we're like, we need a deal right now. Right? And how do you feel in those moments?
Gross.
You feel panicked, you feel gross, but you feel panicked and know that you have to get some sort of result. And you're willing to do whatever it takes. But in reality, if we do this more often, that feeling might not be there, right? All right, so 10 appointments. Preview 10 homes. How many of us are actually previewing homes anymore? Ashley, Scott. But this was a reality, because before, the last 2 years, homes were on the market, they were off the market. You could hardly have time to get your buyer in before there were 10 offers. So if we want to be really clear with ourselves, we weren't really sure what all these houses looked like because it went off the market so fast. And you might not have felt as full of knowledge and information because of that. When you go view homes and it's a slower market, or it's a market that's more balanced, right? And you have the opportunity to say, okay, these houses came on the market. I'm going to go do 10 this week. Do you feel like you have a better handle on the market when you're with your client, both ways, listing or buyers? Hey, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that a lot of homes are getting staged now, and the ones that aren't are sitting on the market. I'm noticing that when people are doing these paint colors, it's more appealing to people because of XYZ, right? You actually see it. You have evidence. Instead of then looking at photos and thinking like, okay, this is a snap thing. I need to get this CMA together, and we're going to go look at these houses, right? So she previews 10 homes. Does that seem overwhelming? Because now we're at 1 to 2 hours with lead gen in a day, right? I'd say probably 1 hour to 2 hours in appointments. So we're up to 4 hours in a day, right? And then when you preview 10 homes, that's 2 a day. I'd say that's probably another hour. You're at 5 hours. That's 5 hours in your day. Number 4 is she wrote 10 cards. She wrote 10 cards to people that she knew, people that came to the open houses, neighbors when she door knocked. She just made sure to write 10 handwritten notes. 2 a day. That might take you a half hour, right? So we are at 5.5 hours a day. Let's say 6. That's 30 hours in a week, right? Who would be willing to make this their plan for the next 90 days? Because a lot of times the question, right, is I don't know what to do to move my business forward. I don't know who to call. I don't know what to do. You have it right here. Right? Because I know when I get a handwritten note from someone, it is very different than getting an email or a text. Jake Blewers used to do a handwritten note to me. I don't know. I was probably on his schedule every 6 months, right? There was a system. He has a system for everything. It didn't feel like a system to me. I still have every single handwritten note that that man wrote me to this day. Not many other people write me handwritten notes. Andy does. I have a few. But do you think that's powerful when I can actually tell you the people that write me handwritten notes and that I still have them? Do you think that if nobody else is getting them from anyone in their life, that you're going to be top of mind for them? Do you feel special when that happens? What do you think your business would look like if you did this? Let's just talk about it.
I was just thinking, when you started talking about this, about the parties that I already know are on my calendar coming up at the end of this month and into December. And I'm like, gosh, if I just wrote all of those people a note, like after going to their party, like that would, I mean, that would be, I mean, not, you know, I don't go to that many parties, but like that's, you know, that's a lot of people. Or if you like,
What about those people that you see there, right?
Yeah, it's like, gosh, you know, like that, it makes it easy to find like those 10, 10, 10. It's like, oh, yeah.
And here's the thing, everyone sends out holiday cards of some sort, right? And this is what I do. I'm like, oh, that's a cute picture. And then I like read some of it and I was like, oh man, they really wrote a lot, right? Because at some point in time during the season, you get like 8 of them a day, right? And you're like, this is a lot. But if something was different in that, right? And you go to a holiday party, whatever it is, and there's 20 people there and you know 6 of them, why not write something and say, man, I really love talking about the banana bread. I don't know what you're talking about at the holiday party, right? Or it was really great to see you again. I haven't seen you in almost a year. It doesn't have to be long. It can be short. You know, I hope the rest of your holiday season is awesome. It's a great idea. What else?
You know, social media, if you see somebody's lost their dog or their kid got a special honor, or, you know, I use a lot of those prompts because I do send cards and use that as a prompt to send them a personalized card about that.
That is the most impactful thing. When Maisie passed away, there was an agent that's not in this office. Hopefully one day she is. She's a RE/MAX agent. And I got a handwritten note from her and her husband because she saw it on social media. And I was like, it was incredible, right? Like, number one, I didn't even know that I was on her radar. She has nothing to gain from me, right? She's an agent at a completely different office. She's not a recruit. Like, she just showed that she cared. Love that idea. What else? And if you're writing these down, right? Because it's like, okay, what can I be doing? Cause a lot of times we get stuck or we're sitting in our office or we're sitting in our cube and we're like, oh, it's really fun to look at reels and laugh and do all those things. And then 2 hours later, you have not produced anything that would be income producing.
Well, when we met, I showed you the calendar that I wrote up. Okay, so for full clarity, I feel like this sentence I'm about to say is super cringy, but I made a prompt on Chat GPT because I didn't want to think of things to write on social media. And I said, write me a day by day, whole year schedule of what to write on, put different posts on Instagram. And I was really specific so I can write that prompt out for you guys to use, but it literally wrote me like
The whole year.
365 things to do.
Like,
So-
it was everything. It was, here's what you do in January, here's what you do in February, here's what you do in March. Like, you don't have to recreate the wheel. If you're looking for like a social media calendar, just ask. We just got one in bold. But when you ask for that, don't look at it and be like, oh, I don't like that idea. Well, it worked for someone, just go with it. Because you didn't have a better idea. Right? Because if you have to come up with 365 things to post in a year, I guarantee you're going to be overwhelmed unless you're actually a social media guru. Which most of us are not, right?
No, the gurus just have something else make it for them.
Correct. All right, what else?
And with the 10 contacts, like as you receive those holiday cards and stuff, those are your people you call that day. You get 5 cards in the mail, call those people. Be like, oh, little Lucy's getting so big. You know, it's like.
Great idea. Never even thought about that, right? Because what do people do if they have a family? It's like, oh, we got this new dog, so now you have the dog's name, so you go into command and you're like, they got a new puppy, golden retriever, Puck. You know, and Lucy's 7 and, you know, DJ's 8. It's right there. You can put that in the notes in command. And then you know, oh, and they're going off to college. Like, it's kind of creepy stalkerish, but it's not because everyone puts their stuff out there. Trust me, I'm the best stalker in the world. Like, the moment I see something on here, and then I like look up this and I'm like, okay, they live somewhere around here. I will legitimately go on the Hennepin County. This is when I was selling, you know this. And I would go block to block trying to find their name. And I was like, oh, there's their address. Because I knew what block they lived on. I didn't know the address. And then I forgot what the husband's name was. So then I would be like, oh, it was John. You can find so many things out about people. It's insane. And then when you see them, they're like, how does she know all that? I was like, oh, you know, I've just been keeping up with you. How are things going? It's a little creepy, I'm not gonna lie, but it works. But they're showing it in their holiday card. Right? All right, what else?
Flattered.
What else? What else we got?
Leave the return address as a holiday card.
Bingo.
Don't just throw it away. You make sure that gets put in your database.
So I think last year I had more envelopes saved than I did actual cards, because I was like, I don't think this person's address is in my database. I don't know if this is in there. And then I went back in and I looked at my Christmas card list, right? And I was like, oh, no, this is different. And okay, great. That meant they moved. Right? That's an awesome idea. What else? What else we got in the holiday season? Do you think we're the only ones that have goals?
I was literally just talking about my vision board on our group run this morning.
And what happened with that?
He's like, oh, that's awesome. I have done a bunch of half Ironmans and I did my first full one this year. You're gonna do great. I was like, thank you.
The conversations when you talk about that are very different, right? Like when you start talking about, man, this is my goal, or this is what I put on my vision board. I think I've told you, my vision board is on my phone. So when my phone's sitting up, people will be like, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's this, 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 and this, right? Other people want to grow too. And it doesn't have to do with real estate, right? It could be anything. I posted something the other day, about like a mom's group. Where I live in a particular area, there are a lot of moms, that were stay-at-home moms, right? And I go out with them often or, get lunch with them often, and they're like, I just want something of my own. Right? Because now their kids are older and they're trying to figure out life. No one has asked them what their goals are. Because they're just, in their mind, I'm mom. You're not just mom. I'm a mom of 3 kids. I'm not just mom. I'm so much more than that. But people don't ask that. One woman wants to start her own business. Right? I said, great. Who do we need to get in contact with? She's like, well, actually, my esthetician wants to buy a commercial building. Somehow it came to real estate, right? Which it usually does somewhere along the line. Hey, I'd like to get an Airbnb out in, Breckenridge because my daughter wants to go to college out there. I'd take that referral all day long. So I'm like, just get in relationship with people, right? Talk about your vision board. Ask them what their goals are. Like 80% of the population, when January 1st comes around, or December 26th, everyone's like, I'm gonna do better on January 1st. I'm gonna get healthy this year. I'm gonna work out, and that's my goal. I know this actually because every January 1st through January 10th, the gym is packed for exactly 10 days. Right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's a lot of work. But what would it be like if all of a sudden it's like, hey, I do want to get healthy this year? Well, what does that mean, right? And all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'll check in with you on January 20th and see how that's going. Because if someone checked in on you with your goal, and it's someone on the outside of this, not just an accountability group, how would you feel? If on January 20th, you're like, oh, quit that one. How would you feel? Awful. Right? Or you'd be like, why did I even say those words out loud? Did they even mean anything? And I think a lot of times that's why people are really afraid to say their goals. Because are you really committed to them? I'll give you a great example. We were in Bold last week, right? Hudson says, come on up, write your listings, and you write a consequence. He's not even on. And I went up there and I was like, I'm gonna gross 10 agents by the end of Bold. Kevin Campbell goes, ooh, that's a big goal. Are you sure about that? Well, if anybody knows me, now I'm definitely sure about it, right? I was like, oh, I am absolutely sure about it. He's like, well, what's the consequence? Like, I don't really know. Like, I didn't know what the consequence was, right? Because I was like, if I have to write a check to someone, fine. That doesn't really motivate me all that much. And he's like, well, what about if you can't plan a trip or go to Montana until you gross 10 agents? Fair game. Wrote it up there. Kevin proceeded to say, you've only done that 1 month since you've been a team leader. Thank you, Kevin, right? And that day alone, I set 7 appointments. By 9:30 at night, I set 7 appointments. We signed 2 yesterday. When you actually commit to the goal, and let me remind you, 10 minutes after I wrote that on the board, I got an email of my daughter getting accepted to Montana State. Which immediately was a text that said, hey, Mom, should we go visit? Okay, had no idea that was gonna happen within that period of time. Do you think I'm committed to that goal right now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I am absolutely committed to that goal right now. And I have texted and called everyone I know that could potentially help me hit that goal. I text recruits that said they're not coming here, and I text them and said, who do you know that would be a good fit? I understand you said you weren't, but who would be? This is a top producing agent from Remax, and he's like, what? What do I have to lose by asking him that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I would ask yourself, how committed are you actually to the goal? Because if we want to be really honest, if that didn't happen, if I got 7, I'd be like, oh, win. Right? Because that's a great number. I'd be happy with that. I am not going to be happy with that on November 22nd. Who's completely committed to their goals this year? Like if you were to say like on a scale from 1 to 10, who was really committed and did the actions and the steps to get there? Who's an 8 or above? Who's a 6 or a 7? Okay. Who's a 4 or 5? Who's a 2 or a 3? Okay. What does that make you think about as you just put a number on how committed you were to your goals? You need to prioritize, okay? You need Montana. Make that happen. What else?
Accountability with a partner of some sort.
I mean, some of these people are in accountability, right?
I think one of the things that, discussion around goals and, goals maybe aren't always, work. We have obviously, what is important to you rises to the top.
Yeah.
Is that your goals?
Well, I think a goal could be anything, right? A goal could be financial, a goal could be health related, a goal could be, travel, a goal could be more quality time, I mean,
Correct.
the goal doesn't have to be financial, but in my opinion, when you set a goal, no matter which topic that's on, I'm guessing you're similar number across the board. Unless there's a passion for the one thing, right? And if that passionate thing still needs a monetary funding, somehow we need to find the passion over here too, right? When I sit down with people, a lot of people are saying, I'm not money motivated. And then it goes back to, I really just like people. I'm gonna break the news to you that you can't help people without money. And people are gonna say, no, but I can volunteer my time. Well, no, you can't unless you have money that you can volunteer your time for. That's how the world works. I didn't make it up, but it's real. So you don't have to be focused on wanting more money, right? But you have to be able to logically put a value to the things that you do want. I want the vacation. The vacation's gonna cost $15,000. That means you have to make that $15,000, right? I want to be able to send my kids to college. What does that really look like? What is that monetary piece? It's a lot. I'm going to tell you, it's a lot. It is. So that's where, sometimes we just got to reframe our perspective on things. And usually when you're setting goals, it's the why, right? It's what do you want to achieve in that year? It's not necessarily the money. I'm not like, oh, you want to get $500,000? Some people do. Some people are like, this is what I want to make, right? But you got to go backwards. What's your cost of living? If you had no other expenses besides food, housing, your car, insurance, no frills. What's your cost of living, right? How many of us actually know that monthly number?
I just did it.
A few of us, right? Most of us actually don't though. We might know the roundabout number. And then add all the fun things on there. Going out to eat. That's like legitimately $50 every time for a single person. If you have a family, you're in at $250. I don't care what you do. Or where you go to eat, like it is expensive, right? You go grocery shopping and buy chicken, it's like $120 for 6 people for 2 days. I know it's not fun to think of those things. But if you want to get to where you want to go and you want to have the goals mean something, not always fun. Fun doesn't come first, right? And if it does, it usually doesn't end well. What questions do we have? Do you figure out any ways to potentially make more contacts by the end of the year? How many of you are committed? And that is like 8 to 10 committed to the 10, 10, and 10. Okay, 6 of you. I would love the people that raise their hand to let me know how that goes for the next 60 days. Like, I really would love to know what results that you get if you're playing all in. Is that fair? All right, let's do wants and needs.
Can I also say, everyone in this room could help Kami reach her goal if you gave her a referral or two.
You absolutely could. I would love that.
Keep that in mind.
You would all love that if I could go to Montana, I can promise you.
You met her
If you're a
person when
human
she goes to
being.
Montana.
Any agent that you've got immediately, that is with a great transaction, send them Kami's way.
Wants and needs, new listings, buyer needs, what do we got? Actually, then we'll go to Amanda.
I have a buyer need for $1 million and under, needs a 4-car or more garage.
Okay.
So, 1,000 or newer. Minimum 3-bedroom. In the, we'll just say, 20 minutes from Plymouth area.
Okay. Amanda,
I have a buyer need 3.5 million and under, in Edina. Looking around like old Edina, but open. And then I have an off-market listing, 2.5 million in Edina. It's a 563 under 6,000 square feet.
awesome. What else?
This isn't, in the foreseeable future, but I'm talking with someone who's looking for a home with a pool, anywhere from Hopkins, Bloomington to Edina. So kind of that little triangle of the world. They're looking to make a move maybe by next summer, so,
Price point?
probably $1 million and under, maybe a little over, but.
Okay, what else? Carrie,
I have a big question for everybody. I have a home in Forest Lake, and listed at 435. It's under contract, but it was, contingent on the home being sold to the buyer. That is freaking taking a long time. I would love to be able to get someone else with an amazing single level living home. With a huge basement, lots of storage, that kind of thing. So if you have any buyers up in the Forest Lake area, I know everybody around here has Forest Lake people.
oh, Ashley might have something.
Maybe I have a question. Sorry, did you say it was a single family?
It's a
Single level, but
single level, yeah, and it's wonderful.
What's the price point?
435. Yeah,
Still have it
it,
active on MLS. Still have it active on.
it is active contingent, but I will, because it's phenomenal. I sometimes wonder if it's just being saved for Brad and me.
The world could be telling you something, you know?
Backup.
Um,
What's the backup home?
Yeah, let's sell that one.
It's in northern Iowa.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's at a 700,000 price point. Really beautiful.
Jacob, you guys are Iowa people.
I mean, but yeah, they just switched their agent down there because their agent wasn't.
I mean, what if you reach out to some of the
Right.
seller people down there and say, hey, what do you got? Like, what are the thoughts on the house? You know?
Yeah, no, I would, yeah, I'd love to, yeah.
Awesome. What else? What else we got?
Terry, how many bedrooms does the Forest Lake house have?
It's 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, and it's phenomenal. It's a great place. Yeah.
Terry should buy it.
Yeah, I think you should sell your comments.
Bob,
We got a 6-bedroom, 5-bath house in Edina, just under 4,000 square feet, with a pool.
Oh,
It's basically selling it as is, 800 price range.
yeah, I think we already talked about the lot, didn't you? Yeah. Terry,
I do have a townhome that's gonna be coming up in Buffalo at that 240 price range, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, great location.
awesome. What else?
I have a new listing, 3-bed, 3-bath. It's off market right now. They're adding another bath in the basement. And gonna go live in February, but are open to pre-market, showing some offers. And it's part of an association, so it's, I think HOA is 125 and it's just lawn and snow. So, awesome, best of all worlds.
Where is it?
That's, Eden Prairie,
Awesome.
right around 400.
Lydia,
Julie Johnson has a buyer looking for a 7 to 10 acre property within 5 miles of Orono, 2 to 3 million. Then have another one looking for a condo in the western suburbs for 250.
so I
Tell
also,
Julie Johnson, reach out to me.
She can hear you.
so part of the reason we do this is so we can match up, you know, new listings and buyers and vice versa. The other reason is we get them sent out on usually Wednesdays, now Tuesdays, for the rest of this month. And if you're someone that is looking for new clients, right, and there's a buyer need and they're looking for a specific area, it would be maybe advantageous to see who put that in there and ask them if they would be willing to allow you to door knock the areas that they are looking. Number one, you can get listings from that, right? Number two, you can help them find the house that their buyers are going to purchase. Huge way to be able to get contacts as well as have a place and an actual neighborhood to door knock in. So if you're also looking for other ways to lead generate or find different opportunities, it's another great way. For the listings that come up or if they're withheld, you can see who's listing those, right? And they will probably need open house help at some point in time. So there are opportunities knocking all over the place if you're willing to reach out to the agents and just kind of jump on them a little bit. Cool? All right, go have a great day. Don't forget to send the rest of your wants and needs to Lydia by 2 o'clock today. And if you're here, put your email